We need some fun in the industry.
We need fun.
Everything we do is based on the standards. Responsible person, what do they do?
Why do you want me here?
How deep are your pockets if you want support?
I'm just getting told off.
Some smoke here, can you look at them for me?
Recite the regs 100 times and it's still based on interpretation.
It's unlike you to be short of a few words. This is just what it's like at the Smoke Control Association meetings when Lorenzo starts talking.
How do you install an actuator?
A manufacturer's trainer. Yeah, but Chaz keeps using the word window.
There is no qualification for what we do. It's based on...
When do we start this show?
We're starting now in a minute.
Oh.
What, are you in a rush? Right, you ready? We're ready. Well, Colin White, infamous.
I'm just checking
Or infamous.
I'm looking for my lawyer to make sure I don't say anything libelous or slanderous. I've no idea.
Can I borrow the lawyer?
So, who's this? Chaz?
I'm Chaz.
Greetings.
Well, I'm a bit confused now because he said he was waiting for you.
I've never seen this man before in my life.
Wow. Already? Right, I'm going.
I always get worried about gentlemen with studs in their nose. I tell you what, when you blow your nose, you've got to be careful to cover that stud, otherwise you'll kill someone.
No, it's actually a good blockage. It's actually a good blockage.
It'll come out and kill the cameraman.
I never get any issues.
So what's this got to do with the...
I know we've opened up.
We need some fun in the industry.
We do. We
So
need
we open
fun.
up talking about my nose stud.
Yeah, okay.
This is a good talking point, I guess. Break the ice. Next one's going to be my moustache.
At least you can grow one. Sorry.
Anyway, Colin.
Why do you want me here?
Well, I don't know. We thought it would be a good idea.
A three-legged dog turned you down, so you asked me to come.
Two-legged dog.
And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Chetan, also known as Chaz. So yeah, ex-smoke fire and security.
Yes.
Yeah, I still don't know why you wanted me here.
Well, this is not about boring smoke control, because anything that I've seen previously has been all very intellectual.
So we're moving away from the intellect here.
No, but it's been very boring.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to do here is to try and open it up, allow people to understand a little bit, know the people behind the standards and the decision making and other bits and pieces.
Do we know who they are?
No, not at all.
These faceless people who make up all these weird and wonderful things.
But that's exactly what I'm saying, Colin. You know, and also with people like yourself who are not new into the industry, but new for working yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the reason why I've asked you to come in and for us to have a chat. And you know, I know what your number one angst is. We might not go into that today. However, how about you? Tell people out there, what are the issues that you discover that you didn't actually anticipate?
What, as a business or as an engineer?
Both, because there's some overlap.
There is. I guess as a business, I'd say the biggest sort of hurdles are the element of support that's out there for us smaller companies. Although there's support out there, I wouldn't say support that's at arm's reach.
Yeah.
Term that I've used today quite deliberately a few times in a few conversations. How deep are your pockets if you want support?
Yeah, when you say support, define support. Are you talking about
so obviously
commercially financial support, or are you talking?
No, commercial support in terms of, so for example, when you look at if you're working within the fire sector, only fire alarms, etc. You've got BAFE, you've got the FIA, you've got various other organisations that you can become a member of, where you can get guidance support, third-party certification, things like that. I think that's an element that's lacking without the big price tag within the smoke control industry.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've always kind of seen myself and experienced, having worked for some of the bigger companies out there, is, if you haven't got the money, you can't have it.
Well, I agree. I do agree. The issue is, though, is that does the industry want just a badge, or does the industry want what's the word? I know.
It's unlike you to be short of a few words. Come on.
Put 10p in him quick.
But basically everything costs. So for you to be audited, and that was the bit I was trying to get, for you to be audited, for you to be part of an association, for you to be, for example, STI 19, SCA, etc., they cost for someone to make sure that you're doing what you're doing is a good job.
I agree. I don't disagree with that. But then the same applies with all the other certifications out there. There is a cost, but the costs aren't astronomical.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. You know, I guess the biggest difference is how big the industries are. You know, the fire industry is huge. It's very competitive. There's a lot of engineers out there. Smoke control. There's not many of us out there. So we're having to work double hard. But then that's where the cost is. It's supply and demand, and because there's not enough organisations out there that do very similar to certification, third-party certificate, I feel that's where the money element is there. You know, they can turn around and say, oh, we could charge this because we're the only ones doing it. Where if there were others doing it, then I feel that's a scenario.
I'm gonna go a little bit in defence of QR and what have you. Is that?
Oh, I've not mentioned any names.
No. Well, they run the STI 19, so. Whilst I do believe certain things should be cheaper, I think there should be different more tiers possibly. However, the problem is that these certification bodies, they're only doing it for one reason: to make money.
100%.
And what I experienced, because I was on the initial SCA training school. Working group trying to get a training school organised through a third party like STI 19, and we just kept on hitting brick walls because none of the people out there, the companies out there, were interested with too smaller industry. And because we're too smaller industry, everything costs a load of money.
But that's inhibited in smaller companies setting up.
I know. So what do we do?
Well, it's not. See, it is a big question, what do we do? But it's the whole certification thing. Is it certification? Because the way I look at the industry is a lot of the things that we do are based on BS standards.
Yes.
Everything we do is based on the standards. It's based on standards that are already out there. The IFC haven't created the standards. The SCA haven't created the standards. The standards are there. We've got.
I think the SCA have offered guidance.
Yeah, they're there. They're accessible. You know, I could become a BS member, a BSI member tomorrow, you know, at a cost, and have access to all the standards that I need to do my job properly. The challenge that is always there with standards is how you interpret them. That's the biggest challenge in the industry, is how those standards are interpreted. You will interpret them differently to how I would interpret them, as will Colin. You have to read them over 100 times over and over again, and you probably still won't interpret them.
So I've got everyone screaming at me, and they've actually attached my... There we go. Go on, let you do it. Obviously I got something wrong.
You broke it. Has he broke it?
Oh, right, fine.
That's what I was trying to sit up.
Oh! Well, I'm just getting told off.
I can't hear a thing Jazz is saying.
Well, turn the speaker up!
I have to play it again.
He's been sitting there the whole time just nodding at me and agreeing with everything I've been saying.
Copy and I'll know what he said.
You've agreed with everything I've said, Colin. That's
Can
all
I
need.
Hello? Yeah, I'm on TV at the moment. No, just I'm with some bloke called Lorenzo Jones. I understand he runs quite a decent company doing smoke ventilation.
Well, I'm glad he said decent.
But just remember the price I gave you. The quality will be remembered long after the price is forgotten. So pay the money. Bye. So that's a customer. God, fed up with them.
We'll keep that in.
It was Chris Baker.
No, get that price down. Oh dear. Where were we?
We were talking about
yeah.
interpretation. So, we could sit there and recite the regs 100 times and it's still based on interpretation.
Yes,
and
but
that's what these certifications are made of. So you can't create, you're almost certifying something that's already there.
And don't you feel it's just a tick box?
It's a tick box. So am I wrong in
Sorry.
But am I wrong in saying this? If I was to now become a BSI member tomorrow, pay my membership fee, have access to the BS standards,
You'll get a certificate.
I'd get a certificate for being a member, but why could that not suffice as a third-party certification? Because it's the regs. It's probably more important that you're direct than going through a third-party certification.
okay, so
It's just another way I'm looking at it.
I'm sure you will go through those documentations and you'll go through every single line. Any part you don't understand, you'll get advice and assistance and what have you. Hopefully not through chat, okay? And you'll do all that. The issue is that whoever gives you that guidance may not actually be qualified to give you that guidance.
But when you say qualified, explain that a bit more.
Competence versus
Competence.
compliance.
What is a qualification?
Yes. Well-
Because I recently read an advert online looking for qualified smoke ventilation engineers. Sorry,
Was
they
that
don't
us?
exist. No, I don't say no names here.
There's a few that
There's a
think
few adverts I see. Qualified smoke ventilation engineer. Sorry, that doesn't exist.
No,
What are you
agreed.
looking for? There is no qualification for what we do. It's based on competencies and experience and knowledge.
Well, we all know, and you know my feelings on this, so does Colin, is that I would say about, I would say 70% of all the maintenance engineers out there on smoke ventilation, and this is my personal opinion, are lacking.
I agree, and the ones that are lacking, funnily enough, they work for the bigger companies. I would say, from experience, I look at the engineers that I work with at the moment as a self-employed engineer with my own company, and there are a lot of
There's a lot everywhere.
engineers out there that have been in the industry for such a long time. They are really, really good, solid engineers, without naming them, but because they don't have the money, they can't get that certification.
jobs complete, handed over, end of maintenance period, the management of the building's taken on by the owner of the building, and he's looking to cut cost. He employs a fire alarm company to come in and look at his fire alarm, and then he says, I got some smoke vents here, can you look at them for me? And they look at it, and they're switching a smoke shaft system that requires the vents not to open simultaneously, and the fire alarm man looks at it and he says, that smoke detector opened that vent, but that smoke detector never opened that vent when he's got the other one open, and he alters the addressable thing on the fire alarm, so you now got all the vents into a smoke shaft opening, going away from the basic doubt shell only open after handover. And it becomes the building owner. That's not the fault of the architect or the consultant or the designer or the smoke vent installer. It's what happens afterwards.
The responsible person, what do? They take that paperwork, they put it in that cupboard, and they don't look at it again.
Do they take the paperwork?
Well, there. Is it left for them?
I'm actually confused.
Is it transferred over to them?
I'm actually confused.
Oh, it's not hard.
Well, I know. But I've never ever said that I know anything.
Okay,
and
fair
I
enough,
always
then.
look to my elders. Sorry, I don't.
It's a pity you don't show them a bit of respect, my cocker.
But for me, I'm there going, well, who is the...
It's not wine, how are you, mate?
Are you coming in on this podcast?
No, I'm getting out of here.
No.
Sorry, did I just crash your podcast?
That's okay.
No.
This is Conor Logan from a very small smoke control company.
Yeah, right. Ouch.
I've been touched about a lift. Please come to Bristol, have a look at that stuff. Honestly.
Okay, yeah, no, I
Right.
appreciate that.
Nice seeing you, Con.
Sorry to interrupt.
Don't worry,
Okay.
don't worry. Where were we?
Connor always has that effect.
Where were we? Where was I?
He was talking about how confused you were.
Responsible person. Thank you very much. I needed that. The responsible person is defined as a responsible person, but everyone deems that as...
This is just what it's like at the Smoke Control Association meetings when Lorenzo starts talking.
Well, basically, the responsible person should be a person, not a bloody company.
But it's always a person because it's
No,
always,
it's not.
No. The responsible person is
well,
the
it's the company, but then there's
organisation.
somebody within that
yes.
company that
But the company
supposes he's
appoints a
responsible.
competent person. But the responsible entity, if you like, takes the ultimate responsibility.
Well, supposedly.
And
that's
to me,
supposed
that's wrong. Because when you've got an entity, everyone goes, wasn't me.
But that's the industry overall.
I agree.
Across the board, nobody puts their hands up and say, "Yeah, it's my fault. I did it." No one's ever going to do that. Everyone's always going to try and find a way.
And this
to
is
pass
where...
the box. Tick the next box. Who's ticking that box? It's like I'm on a job at the moment, and the amount of boxes getting ticked on that. There's no more boxes left. They're running out of boxes.
Well, they'll have what is this this thing out at the moment called AI? Right, they'll have that doing it, but they think it's a new thing.
Even the AI's given up ticking the boxes, mate.
But AI is nothing new. Christ, back in the late 70s, we had AI in the West Country. We had an engineer there. We'd shout to him. He'd say, "Hey!" And we'd say,
And he'd go,
"Can you hear us?" He'd say, "Aye." My
Why did I know
God.
you were going there?
I mean, it's unbelievable. How many people is that going to put out of work? I was given my redundancy last week.
It has its benefits.
You sure it's not gin in here? I'll put...
To me, I don't understand why... there needs to be more responsibility.
But for you, it's okay. We might not understand it, fair enough. But ultimately, it's a government legislation, isn't it? Really, that's where. I mean, it's like you take any industry. Let's take electrical industry. You know, for Sparkies out there, you know, we've got the 17th edition, we've got the 18th edition, we've got edition after edition, and the same rules apply. If I'm the last engineer in that house or the last electrician in that house, and that customer's got a 16th edition board, rewirable fuses, old wiring, red and black, what can I do about it? Absolutely nothing. The only thing I can do is give them advice and guidance to say that is old, you need something new, you need to update. Will they do that? If I was to give them a £3,000 rewiring bill, they're going to be like, does it work?
No, I'm sorry, if it ain't broke, why mend it?
This is it, and this is the thing. Smoke control follows, as far as I'm concerned, it follows the same processes. I'm the last engineer on that site. My job as a responsible engineer to say, right, this is old, this is what the new standards say, but your building was built in 19,
I agree with that.
But a lot of engineers go in, I used to work for a company where engineers would be condemning the system. I would then go in and still be maintaining that system that's previously been condemned because they have a contract to maintain a condemned system, I guess. But then I'd turn up and I'd be like, well, why has that been condemned? It's working. And when I'd question the engineer, oh, it's because it's old. Okay.
Right, well, I disagree with that. But what does need to happen, but the thing is that if you get, okay, so I'll give you a scenario. You got a roof vent.
Yeah.
The smoke vent is 3 years old. And the hinge is broken. For compliance, that hinge can't be replaced.
Sorry, I don't agree with that. You can have a manufacturer's...
Right, you can. Yeah, I agree. You can get a manufacturer's hinge, but the person who's applying the hinge has to follow exact manufacturer's process. But but there isn't nothing like that in the UK, I believe.
Yeah, but see, using that same analogy then, you're looking at new installs, for example, you know, which I've been partial to, is when the contractors, they're having the windows fitted and you're then going in and installing the actuator. Now, I've looked at the specifications that these actuators need to be installed to and the measurements. How do you install an actuator with a measurement of 525.8 millimeters? Now, if that's a manufacturer specification, if I don't install it at that, does that mean it's a non-compliant installation?
If it's less than that,
there needs to be a tolerance.
It could be more than that.
Yeah,
There should be a tolerance.
I agree,
in
but things like that should be done at a manufacturer stage. I completely disagree from the smoke control industry why, as an engineer, I should be installing an actuator to a window on site. That should become pre-fitted by the manufacturer and installed.
I agree 100%.
Right, first of all, I need to qualify in there because I'm having flashbacks to a previous employ. EM 12101 Part 2 N-Chevs. Factory built. You can, if it's part of the factory production control process of that particular ventilator, you can either have the frames and the casements drilled out to take the control mechanism, and the control mechanisms can be fitted on site. What's that, you're adjusting your bra strap or something?
I am, yeah, unfortunately.
I think it's this, I'm not too sure.
Ample bosoms.
Unfortunately, I'm showing too much cleavage.
You could also have the control mechanisms fitted on site. You look at these pictures here, okay?
Yes.
You've got that one on the right there, a bottom-hung AOV with a linear actuator. If that actuator is fitted onto the casement and the frame, instead of having a flat parcel like that, you've got something with a downgrade control mechanism sticking out like that.
Yep.
There's nothing to stop that ventilator mechanism being disconnected or disassembled.
Agreed.
And sent to site and fitted by a vent manufacturer's trained.
Vent manufacturer's trainer.
Yeah. Agreed. But so I side with Chaz on this.
Yeah, but Chaz keeps using the word window.
But the other thing,
Fitting vents to window, and if it's in a smoke vent
But
application.
as this is called the Smoke Control Show, this is not just for intellectuals. All right, this is for normal people.
Unfortunately, us commoners have a different language set.
Exactly.
I know it's not for intellectuals, you invited me.
But also on that note, one thing you mentioned is obviously, if that's been factory fitted first, when it gets to site, am I right in thinking I'm expected to see pre-drilled holes or pre-drilled?
Not necessarily.
No?
You could have templates. I mean, there's a German manufacturer that you know of, Al Muller. They send out patterns.
They send out patterns, but I've worked with products, they don't send anything out apart from a sheet telling you how this should be done. I'm there with a set square and a tape measure trying to get 525.8 millimeters on a tape measure, which is, it's impossible, you know. There's not that many lines on a tape measure.
I'd be very impressed if you could do it.
I really tried that day. You know, I'm trying to get these measurements and then I'm drilling through, and you know, when you drill and you're on site, trying to get that drill to go straight through so you can get a bolt in a perfectly straight fashion, it's not easy.
You know, in the case of that,
You've only got one chance.
And you've only got one chance. So this is where I'm like, you know, I don't agree with that. You know, okay, if I'm to install the actuator on site, fine. Make sure that vent has got all the drills, it's all pre-drilled, or the markings are already made up. So then all you're doing, if you're putting a screw through wood, the marking's there, you know where it's going, it's in there.
wood? Oh, we're talking N-Chevs here, smoke control.
There is one manufacturer who does wooden.
You mean the
windows.
Velex one?
We don't mention any names,
No,
Colin.
we're not mentioning names.
Don't mention names. It's bad.
There are other brands available. Smoke control dampers, Roof Vent UK Limited, Vent Engineering, Powermatic.
You know what? I was trying not to mention any company names.
Yeah, but they're out there. I mean, Christ alive, when your dear father was running the business, a damn sight better than you, I might say.
I know.
Nobody would talk to one another. You'd sneak onto the opposition stand and you'd copy down how they're doing something and that. But it's, people do talk. I mean, we talked to Connor.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to. Sorry. You want to see us when we go out and have a good time?
You should see it when he's actually had a drink.
Yeah, I can hear
Have we got any more water, actually?
I can hear the sea in this empty glass.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, gin.
Yes, gin.
Gin, sorry. This is the Orange edition.
Can I have some water as well, because he's tight.
I wanted it all then.
Yes, I've got roast in here, is it?
We are now
It's the only water that turns orange when you pour it into a cup.
Thank you.
Oh, that's going to be recycled.
It's interesting what you said. It's interesting what you said. I hold the same belief. But also the industry had to advance. So we've gone from, we used to sell thousands of actuators to put on a smoke window. All right. After Grenfell, we stopped supplying. We actually physically stopped. If someone phones up and says they want an actuator to go on a window, we will sell them a certified one, but that is it.
He's still confused when we keep saying the word window.
Roof
You can
vents,
tell by his face, he's like,
smoke
window.
window, Chev.
Right, when I first got involved with the industry...
Yes, but we hadn't landed on the moon then.
No. And we were far better off for it. The fire brigade would turn up at the scene and they'd run up the staircase and they'd open manually operated vents. They'd open a window as they progressed.
Was that as they threw their axe at it?
Oh, they did have the axe and the budget keys for the fireman's axe, yeah. I think all those vents simultaneously opened. So we have improved. I don't know. Strange. It is strange.
But if we go back to what he was saying there.
I told you I can't hear a word you say. I can, Chaz. I'm making mischief. He told me to behave myself.
It's okay, Colin. I kind of picked this up when I come and met you the other day, so I kind of figured it all out at that
What,
point.
you know each other?
Oh, no, sorry, we were meant to keep it secret, were we? No. You just got one of those faces there.
You're a punch.
Okay.
Anyway, I agree with you. I'm not sure if Colin agrees. Do you agree with him? Forget about how it used to be and all the other bits and pieces.
It's a window. We are talking about
It's a window,
end
it's an end shev, it's an actuator. The actuator has been certified with that window in a laboratory.
Hang on, the actuator is not certified. It's
a complete thing.
It's a tested solution.
It's a control mechanism on a tested BSEN product, okay? The motor mechanism, they call it a control mechanism in the standard. All right, it's a pretty damn important one, but it's equally a component like the hinges are, the frame is, the gaskets. So, carry on.
But what he was asking was, you've got an actuator that's being supplied. Had you been certified to fit that actuator?
No, you can't. There is no provision.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to change the language out. Am I experienced to fit the actuator? Yes.
Okay.
Because have I got the experience to use a set square and a tape measure and a pencil to mark out the window, drill a hole and fit an actuator? Yes, it's experience. Should I be doing it if it's a tested solution? No.
And that was the bit.
Yeah.
Had you been gone on a training course for that tested solution?
No, not with the manufacturer, no. You tell me the same thing, Colin. I'd like to know myself. I just get asked, can you do this job? I was like, yeah, I can do this job. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, but
I need to make money, I've got to feed my kids. If I could drill a hole and fit a bracket, I could do that.
what was that movie, Maguire? Wasn't it some of Maguire? Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Jerry
Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. But okay, if should I be doing? Is it ethical for me to be doing it if I've not had the manufacturer's training? That's a very, very, very deep question, because there's loads of things I do where I've not had the manual. There's loads of panels I install where I've not actually had manufacturers. I spent a day with them. They've told me how to change that dip switch, turn that dial, given me an instruction about how to wire it. Does that prove as adequate training? He's got distracted again.
How long have we been going for?
Too long.
35. It felt longer.
It does feel longer, I know.
Okay.
I don't think we've actually talked about anything constructive though, have we really?
My fee will be in the post.
There we are. Well, 35 minutes, fire safety event, first day. Have you enjoyed the day?
Until recently, yes.
I think you should stop asking him questions, Lorenzo. I don't think any answer's going to be helpful.
So it's all right.
Yeah.
It pays to talk.
It does.
It does pay to talk. And you've had a good time, mate?
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's my first podcast ever.
Well,
It is a podcast, isn't it?
It is.
It's a TV show.
well, okay. We could get taken up.
So
It could be the Three Amigos.
what we've established here, Chaz, is that you think that you're being asked as a small business or entity, as I think they call it, that you have to pay too much to
do your job credibly.
Yeah.
And because I'm not part of those associations, does that mean what I do isn't credible? Because one of the things I pride my business upon is delivery and service, and I take a lot of pride in what I do. It's one of the reasons why I went by myself, because I've worked for the bigger companies, I've seen how they've operated, and I've not agreed with a lot of the ethos and how they function, which is why I went it alone. And now I deliver the way I want to deliver to my customers, and what they should be getting, rather than and what they're paying for ultimately. So yeah, as a business, as Elect, we pride ourselves on service and delivery and making sure I'm doing the job properly. And anyone I work with is also doing it to my standards. And my standards are really high, I'm getting told. Yeah. I've actually had somebody turn around and says, I couldn't work for you. So that's why I won't go corporate. Couldn't take anybody on. I'm struggling to let go of the apron strings at the moment.
How do you find payment in the industry?
For me at the moment, I do work with the NHS, I do work with CBRE, I've got some big clients, and I don't have a problem.
They're good clients to have.
Yeah.
But do you work as a subcontractor to other contractors?
I do, and again, I don't have a problem with payment. I think it's because I adjust my payment terms before I jump into bed. Like anyone, I believe, should, and if you don't agree to my paperwork terms, I won't work with you. I don't like to get into payment battles, if they've not paid an invoice. I hate that kind, because it's not good for a relationship. And so at the front end, I'd rather get it all out. The thing I find is the most uncomfortable conversation is money. From a personal perspective to business, but everyone's always uncomfortable talking about money.
I'm not.
Colin's not.
Oh, we know that. And so I feel it's important to get that out of the front end, because if there's any uncomfortableness, it's out in the open. So I'd say these are my terms. Can't work with them. Sorry, I can't work with you.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
With your customers,
Yeah.
will you accept authorization over the phone, or do you insist on having a purchase order?
No, I have a full paper trail. I think you need that.
The amount of
doesn't matter
people.
how strong your relationship is with that customer. You know what? You can have somebody who's your best friend for 5 years. They won't be your best friend when the shit hits the fan for any reason.
Agreed.
Everyone's your friend until they're not.
And whose fan would that be?
No comment.
We'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Call it a day. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Colin White.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. And Chaz as well. Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. See you next time.
He forgot to put the videotape in.
What's videotape?
Subscribe to the Smoke Control Show.